Welcome back to Old School Sports and our Football Manager 2024 playthrough. Help Me Play as Chelsea Football Club. And thanks to some of your help and thanks to a lot of good luck, we got the 2023 to 2024 Premier season off to an excellent start yesterday, getting a very lucky 2-1 win over the defending champions from Man City. Got Arsenal coming up in 6 days from now. Appreciate all the thoughts and comments to our last episode. Tactically, especially thoughts from Stanley Rosella, Henrik Varnick, and Bakester. Hopefully helped us fix a few things here, and I figured a few on my own. We're going to, based on what Bakester said, swap Caicedo back into the defensive midfielder role, move Enzo Fernandez up a bit. You can see that Fernando's pretty efficient at that attacking center midfielder role. And Caicedo has 18 tackling, so should be a decent stopper for us in the back end of the field potentially. Based on Henrik Varnick's suggestion, we've also added in the pass into space instruction for when we are in possession. His thought was that some of our attacking wingers are pretty good in space and pretty pacey, and that might give them an opportunity to get the ball on the run and perhaps put it into the back of the net, which would be helpful. Also suggested that we look at a top-end striker eventually. Completely agree with that. I don't think we're going to have the capacity in terms of our transfer budget to do that now. In Gnonto, we'll give him some playing time this year, perhaps see what he can become. But that's definitely something that we're going to be hopefully focusing on when we get to the summer transfer window almost a year from now, and we've made some moves to hopefully open up a decent amount of cash to use to attract some very useful players to this team. Stanley Rosella also suggested focusing in on a top striker, Victor Osimhen. We have looked at him. He's a $100 million player in this world. So probably not something we can practically do right now, but definitely something we're going to be looking at. I also did look at and mention this, the analysis at the end of our last episode, where I felt like we had some weakness on the right-hand side. And you can see we've opened up some other weaknesses with the moves that we've made here. But we did close down that weakness for hopefully putting ourselves in a better position to get up the ball up the right wing and also prevent bad things from happening to us. What had happened was both of these wing-back positions were inverted wing-backs in the recommended tactics. I had flipped Chilwell to just being a wing-back, but kept James in an inverted wing-back position. So I think that meant was he was kind of pulling over here to the left side, leaving an opening there, put him back into a non-inverted wing-back role, and that closed off the issues there. But as I said, I'm definitely in the very early stages of learning a lot about the tactics. So if you have more suggestions, very helpful to hear them. Also, appreciate Dude DM and his thoughts on a couple of big goalies, Bart Verbugen and Anatoly Trubin. We have started scouting on both of them. Both look like they're going to be very expensive, so I think some of the feedback I've gotten is probably just suck it up with Sanchez and Petrovic as our goalies this year and maybe look to do something more down the line. Definitely have a lot of work to do with this club. Definitely have a lot of work to do with learning this game. Definitely have a lot of work to do with learning the universe, and appreciate the help and comments that all of you have been sharing with me. It's definitely making it a easier task than it would be without your help and having to do this on my own. Have also added in a friendly after the Arsenal games with the Chelsea under 21s. Figure we've got enough time to sneak that in there. Should give us an opportunity to maybe work on our second tactic, the Gegenpress tactic, a little more fully, and also in an environment where there's less pressure on us. Also will give us an opportunity to hopefully get some players into a little better shape for these early stages of the Premier League season. So that's where we stand right now, continuing to spend a lot of time scouting around the universe. Have put in some screens as far as what our scouts are doing to hopefully unearth some potential wonder kids going forward. Certainly that's an area where we'd like to bolster our under 18 and under 21 squads over time and start building a better pipeline of players who will be homegrown to build around over the coming years. So we'll see how that goes. But right now, the main goal is just learn a lot this season, keep the team competitive, don't get sacked, and then by the time we get to the summer transfer window next year, hopefully have some money to spend, know who I want to move on from, know who I'd like to try to add, and have a somewhat lower level of cluelessness for myself about this massive game. And one other thing to mention that I've been spending time on offline is bolstering up the staffing. Those of you who have watched me play other sports management simulations know that I like to build a team of the best coaches, scouts, recruiters, physios, etc. as possible in other games. And we've tried doing that. You can see at the Premier League level, coaching staff really good, scouting better than average. We've still got a few openings on the scouting and recruitment team that we're looking to fill. Physios were in pretty good shape. Starting to pay a little more attention to our under 21 staff now, where we're actually in decent shape, but we are going to try to recruit another sports scientist. And then our under 18 staff, we've got openings for coaching. We've got openings as far as the medical team. So we have posted those as well. Don't feel like I need to rush and just hire somebody off the street. So we've properly posted to hopefully interview some candidates for those positions and bolster our coaching, recruiting, and medical staffs across the Chelsea organization. And ahead of our matchup a few days from now, those weasels at Arsenal have made an unsolicited offer for Thiago Silva, and supposedly he really wants to go. So that's kind of a weaselly move by them. He's not transfer listed, not listed for loan, but it sounds like he wants to leave. We had been thinking that we would move on from the 38-year-old at the end of this season, but this would entail him moving on in the very early stages of this season before the transfer window's even closed, which would certainly weaken our team for this season. Not the end of the world, I guess, given that I'm not really all that focused on how we perform this year because I know that I'm pretty clueless in the game. But I'd still like him to stay, so I'm going to try to persuade him to stay. If that doesn't go well, we'd probably just look for a bit more money from Arsenal for him. It says that Arsenal can offer him UEFA Champions League soccer. Can make a promise here. I understand your desire to play in the Champions League, so I'm willing to agree to let you go if we don't qualify for it this season. We're probably going to let him go anyways. I think it would be a little silly if he would be convinced by that, given that his contract with us is up at the end of this year. But I'll try to make that Weasley promise to him in return in retribution for the Weasley move by Arsenal. He wants to leave. Okay. We'll try to convince him one more time. And if it doesn't work, can't wait for the kids to develop. Arsenal might back out. All right, so now I'll say, I can see you've got your heart set on a move. I promise I'll accept any bid that matches our valuation of you. The current offers aren't going to cut it, though. So we're going to start playing hardball with him. And we are going to claim that he's worth $10 million. That's very high. All right. Our general manager is thrilled because $10 million for him would not be the worst situation in the world. So the conversation ended positively. Weren't really able to convince him to stay. Seems like at least his morale is not that negatively impacted. And we will suggest the fee of $10 million back to Arsenal. And guessing they're probably not going to go for it. And they've withdrawn their offer. So we'll see the ramifications of this going forward. But I guess that could have gone worse, probably could have gone better. Those of you who had similar conversations, appreciate any thoughts and feedback you've got for me. And now that Arsenal have put Silva into play, looks like we've got offers from a couple of prominent Brazilian teams for him as well. It's kind of interesting that these are now his preferred destinations. Even though just moments ago he was telling us he really wanted to play in the UEFA Champions League, and clearly that would not happen if he ends up with those teams instead of Arsenal. Although these transfers would go through in the January 11th transfer window, so we'd have him for another 5 months or so, and then maybe move on to some younger guys. So definitely is something to consider. Don't love losing him in January, but to be realistic, he's a 38-year-old whose contract expires at the end of June 2024. So if we don't transfer him out in that January transfer window, would assume that most teams at that point would just try to get him on a free. So I don't hate the idea of taking $3.3 million for him. Gonna have to give it some thought, though. Well, we know that Arsenal rejected the $10 million, which was an unrealistic number. I think at this point, probably the most reasonable thing for me to do is to get as much as we can for Silva and let him go during that January transfer window. since we don't want to lose him on a free, and it doesn't seem that he really wants to be here for the long term. And as I talked about, given that he'll be 39 next season, even though he's still a borderline premier quality player, not Premier League, just premier in terms of his comparison to top players around the world. He's still an excellent player. But a 39-year-old guy is probably not who we need to be building around with the way I'm trying to play this playthrough. So this offer that could be up to $4.2 million. Doesn't seem unreasonable to me. And we will give the other club an ultimatum to match the offer. Hold on. I don't love this selling team salary contribution here. All right, the way I'm interpreting that is we're just paying a portion of his salary for this upcoming year that he was going to be on our books anyways after we transfer him in January through the end of June. So I think that's fine. If I'm misinterpreting it and I've signed myself up for something horrible, I'm sure those of you who are watching will let me know. But we are going to accept... Actually, am I clicking on the right things here? No, I'm not clicking on the right things anymore. We want to be looking at the offer here from these guys at $3.3 million. It looks like it's reversed to me. Or no, we'll be asking them to match the following offer. Okay, I'm slow, as you can tell. So we're going to accept that offer, give an ultimatum to the other clubs, and go attend our fortnightly staff meeting. I won't subject you to watching the nitty-gritty details of that unless there's something really interesting that comes up. And we've gotten some scouting reports back, and one guy that I've been following intrigues me a bit and interested in viewers' thoughts on whether he's worth pursuing or not. According to our scouts, he'd be a terrific signing for the future. Kenyon Yildiz, 18-year-old Turkish attacking midfielder / striker. I like the fact that he's 6'1". His physical skills are fine, but not exceptional. I think he can get better from this. His value is not incredibly high. We think it's not incredibly high. So we think we can probably land him. Taking a look at our scouting report on him, the upside, if he fully develops, he could be as good as any attacking midfielder in our organization. I guess I'm looking for a little help when you see an 18-year-old with a profile that looks like this. Determination and flair are two things that he's borderline exceptional in. The rest of his profile is good, but not great. How much further development can we expect from an 18-year-old? I think I am inclined, given that it doesn't appear that the money would be incredibly high, to bring him on in a transfer. A few $1 million most likely, and then we'd be paying him a couple million a year. I think there's some potential here, but if those of you who are more experienced in the game than I am could let me know your thoughts. That might determine what, if anything, we actually do with him going forward. And Arsenal's come back with another offer ahead of our game with them in a few days. And apologize for all the ums. I know that some of you have already called me out on that. I definitely am not as comfortable with what I'm doing in Football Manager 24 as I am in games like OOTP, so I'm probably somewhat less slick in my language and diction and presentation skills. We'll come down from 10 million to 9.5 million, Chelsea. Or Arsenal. Good, you've walked away. That's fine. Maybe we'll still get the deal done to send him to one of his Brazilian teams that he's interested in the coming weeks. And then we'll still have him on our team for the first half of the Premier League season. Before hopefully some other guys get healthy and maybe some younger players are ready to step into the important role that Silva plays for us. And I mentioned in our last episode that I had reached out to the board to set up another affiliate, and they have agreed that there's 4 shortlist clubs that they're thinking about. Right now, we're just affiliated with Strasbourg in League One, Uber Eats, kind of looking for a club that some of our younger players might benefit from. And we've got 3 League One teams, as well as 1 team in the Vanarama National League. So I think probably one of the League One teams would make a bit more sense. I don't have any strong opinions on this. I did play this team, and I'm ignorant enough that I called it Stevenage, but it might be Stevenage. I don't know. But about 10 years ago, I played Football Manager, and I played as them for 7 or 8 seasons over a period of many months, got them promoted a couple of times. So I have a little bit of a soft spot in my heart for them. We'll see what the board thinks here. Charlton, the geographic proximity is good. Geographic proximity. Looks like they all have good geographic proximity since they're all in Oakland, all in England. Good training and youth facilities at Charlton. That's obviously something for me to think about. Certainly would prefer good over adequate. Adequate and basic, and average and adequate. So I guess with 3 of the 4 teams being in League One, even though I claimed to have the soft spot for Stevenage or Stevenage, I'm sure you'll be yelling at me and telling me it's probably neither of those and I'm messing it up. But Charlton, with good training facilities, that stands out a little bit to me, so I'll go ahead and recommend Charlton to the board, and they'll let us know how they prefer to proceed. If there's something else I should have been thinking about when giving that feedback to the board, would love that feedback from the viewers as well. And we have formed that partnership with Charlton. I think a League One team would probably work out pretty well for us. Opportunity to give some of the people who aren't quite ready to play at the Premier League level, and that we don't want to lend out to the Championship to maybe get a little better action and more consistent higher level action than they might on the U21 or the U18 team. So I think that makes sense, but I'm sure if I'm doing something stupid, some of you will let me know. Arsenal's back with another offer for Silva. We'll come down to a bit from where we've gone. I guess the potential value is $9.25 million, so it's a little less than we've previously asked for them. Actually, we can remove the number of 20 league appearances. So 8.5 million, that's lower than we have been. Have a feeling they're not going to go for it, but sounds like he may be headed back to Brazil in January, which is fine. And we're getting ready for the match against Arsenal here. Made the tactical changes that we had talked about previously. We're going to go with the same lineup with one exception. We're going to give Petrovic a chance to play in goal today as opposed to Sanchez, who started the first game of the year for us. Not really sure who's the right decision among those two. Petrovic is losing match sharpness at this point, so I want to get him out there, and eventually we'll probably decide on a number one goaltender, but right now it's unclear to me who it should be. I don't have a real strong opinion on that topic quite yet. And our match here against Arsenal is underway. First home match of the season for Chelsea here at Stamford Bridge. We'll see how the game goes. And a really poor start for us here, where Arsenal scored within the first minute of the game. You can see Petrovic diving there to try to stop it, so not off to a good start here in the early stages of this game. And looks like it could get worse here. Nice save by Petrovic there. So a very eventful start to the game, unfortunately, in the wrong direction for us. Seems like things are calming down a bit right now. We still haven't generated even a shot on goal almost halfway through the first half of this game. Looks like maybe something coming here. Madueke back to Reece James. Caicedo involved. A lot of passing going on, and looks like they've stolen the ball away from us, but we tracked it down there. These highlights are a bit fast for me, but I want them fast because I'm not huge on understanding what's going on, playing out the games. A nice shot by Gallagher, but off target, unfortunately. And we head to halftime down 1-0. Expected goals certainly largely in Arsenal's favor. Similar situation to what we faced in the first game of the year against Man City. And we're going to make one substitution at halftime. Noni Madueke, attacking winger on the right side. I'm going to replace him with Wilfried Gnonto, the youngster that we picked up. He's fresh. Want to see if maybe he can give us a boost. We're also going to put him into an attacking mode. Need to generate a goal here, hopefully in the next 20-25 minutes, and then maybe we can try to lock things down and get out of here with a draw, given that thus far we have not been that impressive on the pitch. Back to the action here. And we've tied it up. Nicholas Jackson, his second goal of the season. Nice play there. Ooh. The goal was disallowed, offsides. Bummer. I hate that video replay, but it cost us there. Is what it is. Might be time now, 60 minutes into the game, to consider some other changes. Sterling just missed right there. See if we can do something with the corner. Doesn't look like we can. And we're going to bring on 3 more substitutes here. Armando Broja is going to come on for the goal scorer, we thought was a goal scorer, Nicholas Jackson, who actually didn't score the goal. Malo Gusto is going to come on for Reece James. He picked up a yellow card earlier. Don't want to risk going down to 10 men. And then last but not least, we'll take off the left defenseman, Ben Chilwell, and bring on Mark Cucurella to hopefully give us a boost. And it looks like we might have another shot here. Oh, they've stolen it from us. Ooh. So our buddy Gananto was sent off. So that is not positive at all. We had taken Reece James out to try to ensure that the guy with the yellow card wouldn't get a second one. And unfortunately, a red card for Gananto here. So not an optimal situation for us to be in. Probably, I guess we kind of got to stay somewhat positive. We could lock things down, but we're down 1-0. I know I should care about the number of goals scored and the goals allowed, but I'm more interested in trying to somehow salvage a point out of this. So probably a poor decision, but I don't think I'm going to change too much tactically, since it's going to be hard to score a goal down a man. But if we lose 2-0 or 3-0, it's still a loss. I will make a move, bring on another defenseman, Levi Colwill, for Axel Disasi, to try to at least give us a little more fresh legs back there for these last 22 plus minutes, but not feeling real confident about our chances at this point. It'll be pretty tough for us to score in these last 10 minutes. The red card by Gananto there certainly hurt our chances, and it looks like Arsenal's making another run here. Probably should slow down the highlights when they're showing them so I can actually follow them a little bit better. Second goal, Declan Rice there for Arsenal, and that is going to likely mean that this one is in the books. Unfortunately, after the good luck that we had that first game of the season in Man City, I can see we picked up 2 more yellow cards there in extra time. Just a pretty ugly performance when all was said and done for our Chelsea squad today. 3 yellow cards, a red card, a disallowed goal for an offside, and we are 2-0 losers to Arsenal in our first home game of the season. And coming out of that Arsenal game, looks like Silva has rejected the offer to go back to Brazil. A little surprising there. He said he was interested. We've said if Arsenal offers us enough, we'll let him go there. But so far, they haven't been anywhere close to willing to offer an amount that we asked for. We'll probably get a little bit more reasonable with them, especially now that we've got one of our 2 games against them out of the way at this point. But was hoping we'd make a little more progress in this episode than we did, but in the interest of not boring you further and appreciating and respecting the time of those of you who are watching us, going to call this an episode at this point. Probably going to sim ahead a few games between now and our next episode just to get a little bit of momentum going with the season. Would appreciate any thoughts and feedback that you have for us. Wasn't expecting the start of the season to be incredibly strong against Man City and Arsenal in our first 2 games. The fact that we got a split is probably about as good as we could have hoped for. Wouldn't have minded if we had got the W at home, but it is what it is at this point. So until our next episode, thanks so much for watching, and hope you have a great day.